D&D. Rescue between Raxis. Last time, the party, they beat the shit out of some blue guys, so they decided, let's take what they have. Let's find the fun stuff and just steal it. They then traveled down the road. They became a bit more aware of what was lying in wait for them, possibly, or at least the territory they were entering. And then they came upon a toll. It was a simple offer, very generous in fact. The Etin was simply offering to eat some of them and let others escape. Also, his wife would feel better. But the party brutally leapt at them and beat them to the floor, and then scarpered. And when we last left off, you had just arrived at a small clearing on the left side of a road into the mountainous bit, where you'd found a single guy and several wrecked carriages, and he is feverishly trying to start a fire as the night starts to darken.
Well, I'll help the guy out with druid craft and create a small fire for him.
That's got a range element.
Impressive.
You guys
Maybe
are currently
we
about,
should-
you guys are about 120.
Hello.
Yeah, like this would be
Okay.
a good time for our.
Now you can say it. Now you can say the thing.
Hello, friend.
He looks up at you with feverish eyes and draws his crossbow.
Oh, no, friend. Do not be alarmed.
No, hang on. He's already firing.
Says the tiny dragon.
I take my hand and shut them around the South's mouth and start yelling, wait, don't shoot.
The bolt already
He is
sails
with
past,
us.
but he's just wide-eyed and panicked right now as he looks up and sees this monster some distance away calling to him. I ain't got nothing. Everything else has been gone. It's all ruined. They're all gone.
Would you
We're
like
not
some
here.
food, friend?
Not a step closer from you.
Alright.
Who are yous?
My name is Cornelius Sent of the Cornelius family, of the Sent family, of the Sent Chateau, wine brewer.
Right.
Who are you?
Steve. Yeah, I'm Steve, sorry. Steve Clatterall. As you approach, you can see he is a dwarf. Most of his, although partial dwarf, in that half his beard is missing. And there's a lot of singed blackened hair on the edge where it used to be. So, you're not going to rob me or anything, right? I really don't have anything.
We are not interested in robbing you, no.
Right, well, I can bring your horses in and I'll get out of sight. I don't suppose it matters.
Do you need help with lighting the fire?
I need your help with everything right now. I mean, just fucking look around. They're all gone. It's all smashed. That fucking thing swooped in. Claws, bites. It ate most of them and then smashed the carriages. The horses were dragged off. There's nothing left here. Spent the whole day just fucking burying the bodies that were left.
I see.
So yeah, please help with the fire. My fucking hands are shaking too much.
Zaz will make a small fire from the wreckage, I imagine.
Well, he's got one built already. Just he can't light it right now.
Oh, you have to light.
Yeah, just up it goes. No nice steady blaze. Lighting up some of his features, you can see that he's got, like, most of the side of his head is just covered in dried blood. Although it doesn't seem to be having any fresh stuff on it at the moment. And he's just got that sort of shaking stare to him.
Why don't you sit down for a moment while we prepare something for you to eat? Calm your nerves. In fact, I take one of the bottles of the wine out. Would you have a sip of this?
I'd love to, but Fuck it, 3 weeks is nothing. Yeah, I'll have it.
I handed him the flask.
The cork's pulled out. The cork's wrenched out, and he just tries to take a swig and then starts coughing and hacking up. You can see there's into the splutter of sort of coughed up wine, there's also flecks of red.
Do you need medical attention?
Probably, yeah. I mean,
Medical.
If you don't mind, I can help you with that.
I'm not in a position to say no, and honestly, I need everything I can get.
In that case, boom.
He's still filthy, he's still bloodstained, but he's no longer sort of screeching at his chest now and again, and he seems to be feeling better. Oh, it's all muchly. Oh, Glenvor, that would have been handy about 20 minutes ago. I recognize that god as one of those human ones. Don't suppose you could say a prayer too?
I certainly could.
I'll show you the way. As he hobbles up for a second, starts to limp a little bit, he then just points to behind one of the smash carriages, was still semi-intact, although the roof is gone, but still got the framework. You can just see there's about 15 spots of upturned earth. Only a few actually have little like stone memorials to it, and a couple actually have holy symbols hanging around them. That were most of us. Few were just eaten outright. What do you know? All three heads eat people. You'd think the goat wouldn't.
Wait. Did you forget what we're up against?
I mean, yeah, it's a chimera, but they don't have goat heads, do they?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay then.
Lion, goat, and snake. Commonly.
However, you know, thanks to Rain and Zarzul's knowledge, actually there's someone else as well, but it is lion, goat, and dragon in this world. Which is why some of the other wagons are just cinders. Just clumps of burnt wood. You look up pretty lucky, huh? You haven't met the beast yet, have you?
No.
Not yet.
It hit us about half a mile down for the first time. It took most of the horses with it, and then we just trundled here, tried to hole up, defend, and then it just smashed right through the next day.
Well, I have a feeling we're going to be fixing its wagon soon enough.
So, yeah, make yourselves at home. Maybe we'll wake up tomorrow.
Oh, we'll wake up tomorrow. Don't worry about that.
Perhaps
Okay.
we should find something a little bit further down the road, not exactly where this old hunting ground is.
But like I said, man, I spent the whole day just burying them, and I have to show them full honors, or else they'll come after me.
I was looking in.
I mean, that's the thing, right? You put them down deep so they can't just climb out and chase you.
Well, it's a fair enough decision, yeah.
Yeah. That one's my wife. That was my nephew. The rest, I knew all of them.
Maybe it might be worth doing a walk down the road and trying to get another clearing. Because I don't think you should probably be spending the night here with all these lovely folks laying up here.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to go anywhere. Just, yeah, I'll just be in your wagon then. That's all right, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's perfectly fine.
That's good. That's good. As he starts walking
and
towards
don't
the wagon,
worry
you notice he's really not able to keep looking at anyone. Most of the time, it's at the ground. And he just clambers in and sits at the back. He doesn't even notice the giant, sparkling, magical flail snail shell. He didn't take one glance at the owlbear or the goblin either.
I poke my head in, and I do make a note to mention, don't mind the goblin, the kobold, or the owlbear. They're all with us, and they're all okay.
Yeah, sure. He just brings up his crossbow. It's unloaded, but he still brings it up tight to him.
Well, everybody want to get moving again?
Do you mind if I do a quick search of the wagons just to see if there's anything of use left?
Uh,
Are you asking him or asking the party?
Party.
I'm okay with that.
Perhaps we should
We-
ask
we- we have the guy who's just been burying his family, and all the stuff is destroyed, and you want to go rob his stuff. What's left of it?
It's not really robbing because, he's kind of going with us.
It's very disrespectful.
I'll walk up to the wagon. Is there anything you want us to bring along?
Thank you.
Not mine, no. Well, my wagon was that one. And he just points to the one that is mostly ash. So, I got how I feed myself, and that's it. All the rest is in the ground or in the wind. Thanks, though. That was nice of you.
Would you care for a smoke to relax?
I don't really want to be near smoke or fire for a while.
Understandable. Just
Again,
thought I'd offer something to calm you down.
no, thanks, though. Are you meant to be red and horned?
Yes.
Right, okay. He just sits his head back down again.
I suggest we get moving.
Indeed.
Agreed.
May as well.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. You still figure you can travel about an hour or two before it gets too dark to be safe. And as you're trundling along, you do notice that in the distance there is the broken yoke and axle of a carriage. It's, you've gone about a quarter of a mile or so before you spot it. And there's also still scorched and blackened earth. And then strangely off to the side, after about another hour's travel, on the right now you do see another one of the carriages. Well, it's a fully covered sort of caravan wagon. But the horses are there, they're dead. And in the sides of the carriage are these massive spikes. They look like... Actually, they kind of look like the tree clubs that you were getting smacked around with before. A bit thinner, but they're solid columns that are just lodged in the side of it as if they've been smashed in.
Well, shit.
Is
Well,
the
it's got-
guy still awake, or is he just past the moment?
Oh, he's awake. He's fearful and just staring at the floor.
Hello, good sir. Is that one of your other wagons out there, or is this another?
Slowly clambers out to peer out. No, that wasn't one of our lot, no. That must have been just behind us. That's not what the Chimera did.
Siegfried was right. There were tastier people behind.
I shoot a glare at our lovely dwarf.
Hmm. Something else about.
What do you do?
How much more time have we got before it gets too dark?
Sun's pretty damn low at the moment. You're very in the orange and crimson sort of band. You've probably got it maybe about an hour, hour and a half maybe until it gets pitch black.
In that case, it's probably best time to at least look for a spot to park up.
Yeah, you would say that.
The one who doesn't want to die in the dark. Yeah, he would say that.
Well, no, he said park, and I'm thinking, yeah.
No, that's the other
And
one.
you got the wrong one.
God damn it!
As you keep on trundling, the caravan with the spikes lodged in it gets closer. As you
How
trundle
far
towards
away
it.
is it?
I mean, it's up to you guys. It's just on the way to. It's way along the road. It's not off to the side or anything.
Well, I'll probably get off the cart and have a quick peek to make sure there's nobody else inside still alive or something.
I'll walk with Siegfried.
All right, as the two of you,
I'll follow.
as the three of you, four of you actually. As the four of you hop down and start to walk around, you notice that there's a few small little cuts and scrapes on the legs of the horses. And as you're walking through the sides, you can see that these things, they are just columns of wood. There's a few iron bands on a couple of them, but they seem a little bit irregular. But it's like they were done to the general shape, and they have smashed right through the side of it and lodged in. As you get round the back, though, the back door, the two flaps of it have just been ripped free. The whole back of it is exposed, and there is a stink of decay.
Oh dear.
And as Siegfried looks in with his dark vision, and Rain actually, you do notice that this has definitely been either incredibly rough going, or it's been looted. You notice that things have been hauled out. The actual inside of it looks, it's almost like a merchant storehouse kind of thing, but it's also a living quarter, so there is just this vast array of colorful and mostly torn and shredded cushions, great rich reds and purples. On the sides of the walls, although most of them have been smashed open by the spikes, which you now see do have a point on them. You can see that there are cabinets.
We have giant arrows.
Yeah.
These are ballista arrows.
Yeah,
They're-
they probably are, but I don't know if we've got character knowledge on.
You can tell at a glance these look like something that could be launched from a ballista, although cruder. Definitely not professionally made. But yeah, as you look through it, you can also see that on the walls they were stacked with cabinets and cubby holes and and storage devices. And there's just, among the rot, there's also this overwhelming, almost nauseous miasma of mixed spices, just tons of different aromas and flavors messing together and just assaulting your senses. There are draping silks. There's let's see here. Oh yeah, there is one thing in particular. At the back of it, on one of the spikes, is a very portly, but slightly liquefying human, impaled through the stomach, and pinned into the far corner. He is wearing vestments that are actually kind of familiar to you. You saw the same kind of arrangement of very draping clothing and a wrapped cloth head covering and all from the dwarven merchants who sold you Morden's Curl. Very colorful, very garish, but also very light clothing. Doesn't really seem like it would fit for this season at all. That's what you can tell from looking in the back. There's just a lot of stuff lying about all over the place.
My guess is this must be one of the escaping merchants from Raxis.
Looks that way. I don't see anything that seems to be useful, but I mean, there might be still something here, but I can't.
Yeah, I'm giving your investigation for just you looking in and walking around it. You haven't quite got an ankle deep in the stuff.
I'm gonna look inside where the dead guy is and see if there's anything specific that we can figure out from over there.
To get a good view, you'd have to clamber in.
Yeah, I'll have to clamber in. I'm doing that.
All right.
And I know I'm gonna regret that, and I'm making funny faces the whole time because ew.
Yeah, it's a powerful assault of the senses. Pufflesworth is a little reluctant to go, but he's also kind of curious and wants to walk about.
So I should probably investigate, shouldn't I?
Yep. Siegfried and Cornelius getting to watch as, among all this damage, there's now new ones, as the back of his thing gets shredded by the developing claws of this owlbear cub.
At least it's this cart, not our own one.
Exactly.
As you sift around, you notice a collection of various things. There's a lot of broken bottles, a lot of wines that have just been spilled and pouring over each other, and the broken spice balls and all. There's just this horrible glar that's been building up from just the fluid-filled powders. There are a few things of note. There's a very large gold-plated at least, sconce. Although all the little, you can sort of sense this for perfumes and all, but it's empty currently. Although there is quite a lot of black ash in the bottom of it. There is a very large hookah, although part of it is chipped and bent, and the pipe itself has been disconnected. There is, let's see. You do notice something odd in that he's wearing this large sort of spangly cummerbund. It's mostly like off-white material, but it has dangling coins along the bottom of it. And it's intact, and it's also clean, whereas the rest of them is just horribly blood-soaked. And as your step...
So he's blood-soaked, but the cummerbund, for some strange reason that should be blood-soaked, is not.
Yeah. And as you're stepping across, you also put your hand on the wall for a second, and one of the doors of the cabinets cracks free. And you notice just this small little bundle. It's mainly like... It's several lengths of fabric, some of them translucent, and very fine jewel chains, and a lot of dangling sort of sapphires and emeralds, all encased like teardrops, and just a very small little stack of them.
Huh. So I grab that sack of stuff and I kind of stick my head out and go, okay, so whoever came in here obviously wasn't looking for things to nick, because there's a lot of stuff in here that's high value.
And
Or
the
at
other
least
two
looks
witness,
like it.
and the other two notice something strange as you pull this out, and it sort of starts to slip from your fingers a little bit because of the fine silks. It all hangs together. It's not attached, but it's all sort of floating within distance of each other. And it looks like some of an outfit.
Huh. Could one of you take this while I see about that other stuff in here? Because there's some weird stuff up in here.
Sure, I'll take it.
I hand it over, and then I go to... and I look at the poor fellow who's currently rather impaled, and I go, sorry about this, buddy, but I need to look at that for a second.
As you start
And
rattling,
I go to undo it.
as you start rattling and pulling at the cummerbund, his hand slips free for a moment, and you can see on the bloated fingers there's 3 rings.
I'm not that interested. I just want to see the cummerbund.
All right.
Cornelius, did you ever detect magic?
No.
Or have it known?
I have no. I do not have in my spell book at the moment. No.
I do.
Also,
Would
as you're
you
pulling
mind
the cummer...
just- In that case, Castelia, would you mind coming over here and just having a quick look with detect magic to see if we accidentally miss?
Not at all. I dismount and go to join everyone else by the ruined wagon.
At that point, I go and I hand the cummerbund out to have a look because I know that's certainly probably magical.
Well, as I was saying, as you take it off, you do hear a thud behind the corpse.
Oh, in that case, I promptly look behind the corpse and see what that was attached to.
And you can see that there's a very chunky scabbard with a very thick-looking dagger in it. The handle is heavily polished. It looks like very fine metal. I mean, it's hard to tell in the shadows, but it seems shiny. And
In that case, I'll take that as well.
Yeah. As you draw it out into the light, you notice this is platinum.
Well,
The metal
shit.
used in this is platinum, and there's a big fat emerald on the end of the handle. The scabbard
Well,
itself,
shit.
yeah, the scabbard itself is well decorated. Again, although not to the same degree, it has very fine decorative lines of platinum ringing around it. It's all the patterns are very curvaceous, very just sort of simple lines that could almost be like wind, possibly water, maybe even sand. Just in spiraling patterns.
Huh.
Just look at the knife in disgust.
Well,
Typical ostentatious merchants. Throw their money at any pretty thing they see.
I just kind of shake my head and I go, I know that cummerbund has something magical going on with it.
Yeah, and as detect magic goes off, there's a few small little things pinging on the inside of it still. But yes, the cummerbund, the pile of silks with jewels, and the dagger are all glowing.
Anything from the rings?
And there's nothing from the rings.
I think that's something that ransacked through this wagon would have. It must have been in a hurry. If they have not taken this
I'm
from
wondering
the
if
merchant.
whoever ransacked it wasn't after currency though. It might have been after something.
Yeah, I doubt, and I mean, even if it's something who doesn't know the value of some of these objects, they would have at least taken the shiny things.
But yeah, Castalia, you're able to see that there's there's two large sources of a glow. One is in a cabinet on the left near the back end. One's in a small sort of like crouching desk at the back where the guy's corpse is. And then there's two small glows over on the right near the entrance. Just sort of, again, they're still inside their little cabinet bits.
I'm starting to wonder, is there someone who wanted this guy just to be dead?
You might have had something in particular they were after.
Indeed. Especially if
It's
he's from Raxis.
He's definitely a collector.
Well, in that case, I'll hop back in and I'll start taking anything out that seems like it could be questionable.
Well, if Castalia directs you, you can find those magical objects at least.
I help, of course.
Yeah. Gonna need a fresh investigation roll if you want to try to find anything else. But what you do pull out, first of all, with Castalia's instructions is, in the desk there is... It's fairly small. It's about 3 or 4 palm lengths across. It's a chessboard
Hmm.
with a very deep base in it, and you give it a very light shake, and you can hear that there's rattling. So it feels like there's a compartment for the pieces. Again, it's very ostentatious, gold framing, and each of the tiles is a separate chunk of ivory. The cabinet on the left, it contained, kind of surprisingly, it's a chain, but it's very thin. It's about each link's about a thumb, and the actual chain itself is probably about 8 meters long or so, and it's all very fine metal. Like it's not silver, it's not gold or anything, but it's very very well polished and very high quality iron or steel. And it ends in a loop. It looks like it would fit upper part of an arm or a neck or a leg. And it just clicks together with a bolt. And the two pieces on the right. Well, let me see here. Where did I put them? Ah, yes. It's a small silver case. And also, where the fuck did I put this in the file? Ah, yes. It's a single sandal with at the little cuff where it meets the foot and all. There's 5 little sapphires, only about the size of a fingernail, inlaid in it.
Huh. Well, I passed the stuff on out. I will do another investigation. But before I go to investigate, I will point out to everybody, it might be wise if we take anything that could possibly be important out of the wagon. And then considering I don't really want to take this guy out, considering he's bloated and he's probably going to explode, I would much rather if we just set the wagon on fire and do a cremation instead of a burial. Just saying. I don't want to bury him, but I gotta do something.
Says the cleric.
I want to make sure that he rests in peace, but I don't want to have body juices all over me. That is a perfectly reasonable request.
Alright, give me your investigation roll. I'm sure the others will mull that over.
That wasn't a very good one.
You never know. I mean, it's not like anything...
While she's doing that, I'm going to have a quick look underneath the cart to see if there's any hidden handles or anything stupid.
Alright, give me investigation. But yeah, Rain, as you decide to start with him again, because it's simpler at least. And you can't help yourself. I mean, you were just inspecting him, patting him down, and it just seems like one of his rings came off. It's just one of those coincidences, as you look at it, as it's very beautiful. It's solid gold with a very fine, well, it's a small diamond, but it's very clear. But then as you turn it around, you do notice there's an inscription on it. Not in a language you understand, though.
Well, in that case, I pop out and ask, hey, does anybody know what this means?
Let me take a look.
None of you can understand this language.
Oh, we might have to keep that and find out we might be able to find next of kin via it.
You also find, Rain, as you're panning down, a fine little... It's like a pressed kind of scroll case. You pop it open, because you learn nothing, and just drag out the parchment. It's poetry. It is just reams and reams of incredibly flowery and overwrought poetry. There's so many metaphors and similes to desert winds and beautiful sands and ever-gleaming jewels, and she is his only oasis. Just mounds of it.
Oh dear.
It would work on a girl who had had at least 18 gins. Or realized the guy was rich.
I think he fancied himself a poet.
By the time you've unfurled it, it's kind of like that thing where you unpack your luggage and then try to pack it in again. No matter how you fold this again, you can't picture how it goes back in this really thin sleeve.
I give up. I just kind of put it all together off to the side.
Just leave it in the wagon.
As you're setting it down, you look back at your compatriots, well, their heads anyway, and you notice there's something in There's something in the corner you didn't notice before. It's that porcelain doll's head. And the eyes are staring right at you.
There is a creepy doll.
Didn't we already see this before?
It is this very same one you pulled out of a Schwartz treasures pile.
I pick it up, I lean out and say, does this look familiar to anybody?
She's holding
Yes.
a small globe.
A small globe.
Yeah. It's not a Fey rune, it's a lot simpler than that, but it's quite nice looking. Nice little art piece.
Yeah, that's what I said in the character voice. I don't remember that particular globe.
Globe?
It's still a porcelain doll's
A
head.
spherical object.
I look at the doll head again.
Very slowly the mouth opens.
What?
You can see that the porcelain is actually cracking around the mouth as it does so.
I promptly chuck it.
And it goes flying. You guys just watch as she threw this art piece and you hear it shatter in the distance as it lands.
What is with you and breaking things? At least this one didn't explode in the fire, but
It
still.
was opening its mouth! What do you expect me to do?
It's the globe.
No, it wasn't. It's that damn doll head we picked up.
I'm still underneath the cart hunting around to see if there's any secret power.
Yeah, you're testing it and checking it. You do find one small little storage panel, but it's just got an abundance of tools in it. Very finely wrought and over designed, but just seems like cart repair tools.
So I found the spear. Okay.
Well, not the spare. You found what can put the spare on. That can be more useful in a way, especially to someone with dexterity.
Yeah, especially if they're decent quality ones, we might grab. I will grab them. What the hell? It's something.
Alright, let's move on. It's getting quite dark.
So what? What about a globe?
The thing you threw, the spherical object?
That was the doll head.
No, it wasn't.
It was opening its mouth.
I walk over to the thrown object and look at it.
I mean, hey. It's kind of coincidental, but one or two of the pieces are actually in the shape of the continents. That's kind of impressive, but it is fucked. It is a bundle of sharp fragments.
Listen, Ray. It's been a long night. Let's, Renamis, it's been a long night. Perhaps you should rest up with the dwarf in the cart.
I kind of do a facepalm thing and I go, okay. Obviously, if you all didn't see it, I have a feeling that must be some sort of a cursed doll head thing.
I just started escorting her back to the wagon, patronizingly nods as he keeps talking.
Oh, do you? Give me a strength check.
If you touch me, I was about to say.
Oh, yeah, just not the violently pushing her. Just
No.
kinda-
It's not her that's resisting.
Are you
Oh.
sure about that? Because I would be too, but.
Oh, wow. Oh, he no longer has a negative modifier.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
He's getting bigger.
We fed him too well.
As you try to lead his mother away, Pufflesworth just plants his feet. Mainly because he's just distracted by the amount of smells in the cart. He's still kind of interested in that. And you realize, wow, he is dense. I mean, he's dense, but he's also dense.
So dense. Just so much owlbear. So
Yeah.
And at
Definitely
this
say
point,
in more ways than one he's denser than Droop.
and at this point, I quite pointedly say, Don't touch me.
I just put the arms up like in the okay.
I go back to checking out the cot.
And Cornelius remembered, that's why you don't touch the ordinaries. They don't appreciate it. They don't listen to the betters.
Ay, ay, ay.
So what are you all doing?
Well, apparently waiting for Renamus to finish searching.
Yeah, I start
For dull
taking things
heads.
like fuck off. I start taking things like the hookah out, and I start passing it out to everybody, getting anything that
Little team
Yeah,
bonding
the cot.
exercise, I see.
It's like, well, if nobody else wants to get in the icky decay cart, then I'll take the stuff out. I'm going to leave the rings and stuff on him. If it's not magical, I'm not touching it.
Does that include the one with the
Mo-
inscription, or is that still in Siegfried's hand?
Oh no, Siegfried still has it because I accidentally got that one. I will check them out to make sure that there's no inscriptions on the other one, but then I'll put them back on him.
No.
Okay.
They are blank, but very, very fancy. You imagine this could leave quite a mark if you punch someone with it, but an expensive mark. A wound with value.
It's just a ring with a dollar sign on it.
Pretty
A thought
much.
comes to mind. Did he sign any of the poetry?
Hmm. You know, he would have, actually.
Well, then we can get a name.
Unfortunately, he only signs it as the most blessed of all the sands.
Well,
That's not
Well,
very helpful.
It's something. Not the best.
something that I'm guessing an amateur poet like him would most likely not be very secretive about his author name. Someone would probably know about this name.
Well, in that case, I take one of the more readable ones out, and I pass it on over so that we'll at least remember it and we won't have to forget about it.
Yeah,
It's
because
readable,
already
but-
forgot the name. It's just about something about sands.
This is the one that contains the least references to breasts that are the glorious dunes of the desert.
Quite.
Still references it twice, but, you know, that's a lot less than the rest of them.
At least it's not Vogon.
Yeah. This one mainly focuses on the eyes and the hair. There's a real theme of this is about a woman.
Well, he was apparently sweet on someone, and a lot of his things tied to the desert. So that's either where she is or where he's from.
Why not both?
It is possible, but only one is sufficient.
So you're continuing to empty shit out. Actually,
From what I got listed so far, cummerbund, the second jewels with the silk, dagger with scarab, chessboard, chain, silver case, the single sandal with inlaid sapphires, the general cart tools, gold ring, and the poem. Have I missed anything?
I mean, if you want to fix the hookah.
I don't think anyone wants to fix the hooker.
As they look at the kobold with his massive sack of tobacco.
I was about to say he might want it.
Hmm.
It doesn't look
No,
portable
that
by the
poses-
stint that it's the same size as you. It could be a tough carry.
It would be a challenge, but no, let's leave the hookah for now.
And Rain, as you go back in, you hear something. It's quiet at first, muffled in fact. Do you prefer hanging out in an evening at the beach At the coast or in the mountains.
Found the rock.
Oh no, you had that in your pocket. You were
Yeah.
carrying that.
Oh, I
You-
forgot.
Yeah, you did.
I thought that got chucked.
It did,
Well,
but it found you again.
Where were the options again?
The beach, the coast, or a mountain.
It's about 20 minutes of all those.
You could be anywhere in New Zealand with numbers like that. You're also precisely 30 seconds away from any kind of sheep or aggressive bird.
Nah, sheep are a bit further away.
They're learning.
It or aggressive bird, which means that anything's about right.
It's like he sent us pictures of those aggressive ducks the other day. They're everywhere.
Exactly.
Then there were the rabbits.
Anyway, back to the story. Back to the arcing plot. So you're gonna steal everything nailed down, right? Or are you done?
I am, and I am looking for paperwork, particularly anything that might actually let us know who is he, why was he here, and why is it that nobody took his crap but killed him very, very badly.
You do find a couple of ledgers, most of them pretty bloodstained, pretty smashed, but none of it's decipherable. It's not it's not common. It doesn't look remotely elven. It's definitely not. It's not draconic or dwarven either. They're symbols, but they don't seem like a language.
Would it help if I prestidigitated?
It smells nicer now. Well, yeah, you can get rid of the bloodstains, but it also takes away the ink that was mixed with it.
Well, shit. Well, good thing I only did that to one.
Yeah.
Well, I pass out the other ones just in case, so
You
that
also-
everybody else can have a good look at it.
You also do find a few more heaps of clothing. Some of them around his size, and others are very, very plain sort of drapes and covers, shawls and whatnot, but seem for slimmer figures. But this seems like more like a hard travel wear. Something to keep the wind off you. Still very thin. It wouldn't do a lick of good in the snow, but wind maybe. But yeah,
Oh,
all
well,
the
so-
paperwork you find seems to be written in these strange symbols.
Probably in
I
code of some description.
I was about to say, I pull out all the paperwork, and because I don't know, maybe some of this is actually important, and we can't read it yet. So I kind of pull out the paperwork, and I bring it out, and I go, anybody have any idea what we can do to try to read this stuff?
Not without a cipher, I'm guessing.
Probably need a
Doesn't-
merchant.
Doesn't look like any type of language, or is it just total garbage?
It looks to you like total garbage.
Okay.
It looks like
Might be
someone
part
just
of a
was
merchant's
doodling.
guild.
Let's see if we can find a merchant that looks similar, and they might be able to help.
You can tell Siegfried's a cop. He's profiling already.
Yes, not taking down our. Yeah, never mind. Oh, I am an idiot.
Why are you an idiot?
I cast comprehend language.
You cannot decipher the books.
Hmm.
But the ring, however, you do get a name. Just have to make sure I'm checking this one right. Yeah. Al-Hazi Modorist.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe he was of these hands. So either he really misses home, or the woman is comparative to a desert.
I'm not touching that desert comment with a 50-foot pole.
But it also means that his dossier here is written in a something that actually isn't a language. It would be a cipher.
It's never a good idea to leave your secrets uncoded.
Still, we have a name.
Well, are we done otherwise? Because I think probably want to get moving.
Yeah, it has gotten a bit darker, but it's been, you've only probably spent about half an hour, 45 minutes standing here.
Well, Rain, say a prayer and whatever ritual that you need to perform for the departure.
Just imagining. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Fireball!
No, we're not fireballing the damn thing. But alright, yeah, I just do a neat little prayer about finding your rest, and I say, okay, does anybody have something we can set this off with
I do.
that isn't explosive?
Yes. It's a
Flaming
firebolt.
spear.
Firebolt.
Flaming spear would work.
I have firebolt. It'll suffice.
Alright, that'll work.
There's no need to roll or anything. It does go up nice and steadily.
Yeah, I was just waiting until Rain was removed. Assuming she would prefer not to be burned along the pyre.
No, I would not.
Oh, I thought that was a thing.
I mean, you wouldn't,
That's
but...
for the spouse, not for the priest.
Same thing.
But how about Mr. Pufflesworth?
Oh hell no, he's going with.
Yeah, you just scoop him up. He just does that thing of getting longer when he's held. Just got this massive torso midsection thing that cats do. And yeah, gradually
just light it on fire.
gradually there's the crackling, then it starts to hit the alcohol, and it goes a little bit faster, and it just goes up. And you realize, oh yeah, there's still the horse corpses attached to it, but nature finds a way, I suppose.
Yeah, horses don't have good souls.
Wait, there were live horses attached to it?
No, they're
No,
dead.
they were dead.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't mind that part.
It's just that among the pungent spices and all, you do start to smell a bit of cooked meat and burning hair.
Wait, did you think we set live horses on fire?
No, that's for the next battle.
I attacked the corral.
Anyway, we're going to keep moving and look for a place to camp tonight.
Mhm.
Probably a little bit further away from this particular bomb.
Yeah, it's a bit of a signal, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
As you all hop up into the carriage, you start pouring over your loot, and you can hear far in the distance, directly to your north, another roar, followed slightly afterwards by a similarly loud roar, but from a different kind of creature.
Maybe they'll just fight with each other and we won't have to deal with them.
It has 3 heads.
I think
All of
you
them
want
make
the heads
different
to start
sounds.
fighting each other.
That's what I want. I do not want.
This isn't Godzilla vs. Rodan, where they're just gonna fight each other and we can get.
Oh no, this is Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, and you guys don't have a Godzilla.
We have Pufflesworth. That's a Godzilla.
Could be. Cornelius does have enlarge.
Yeah.
It will just look like a super deformed version of an owlbear with his chubby baby head. And his stubby, stumpy limbs.
Hopefully Rum Rusher was here to hear that.
And so you set off, I suppose.
Indeed.
We've had enough fun. fun. Let's leave.
You do get a fair distance to where you can't even... I mean, you can see a little bit of the glow above the trees, and you even cross a small stream with a little bit of a land bridge built around it. And as you keep going, you're not really seeing a part where the tree cover breaks on either side. And darkness falls.
We may have to camp in the middle of the road, guys.
I mean, you can still... I mean, there's still like enough space to park on the side. It's just there's no clearing you can just drive up further away from. You'll still be in view of a road.
Well, the horses won't be able to do much with the way that it's going, so probably just park on the side of the road and just camp for the night. Would we recommend not lighting a fire at our camp at the moment?
Agreed.
We're gonna freeze though. It's getting worse each of these days.
Well, don't worry. We brought some hide along to shelter a bit of the cold.
Oh, right. That'll do. Already, a lot of you. I mean, apart from Castalia and well, Pufflesworth obviously and Wolfgang aren't bothered, but the rest of it is getting a little nippy in the fingers and the noses. There is a definite chill in the air.
If only I hadn't sold those 30 beaver.
Did you?
I mean, I assume we did.
I
Yeah,
don't think you did.
we did.
No, we haven't yet.
Oh shit! There's
No, this is from
We
the
still
first
have beaver
campaign.
pelts?
Yeah, yeah. 30 beaver pelts was we got those in Fandelver.
Yeah, in the basement of
how.
Tresendar Manor.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think he still has them. I don't think he sold those.
I don't know. I'll have to check my old sheet because I don't think I carried it over to Roll. If I got that, we're fine.
I mean, they're pretty old now.
Oh.
Mind you, they retreated, so yeah. It'd still be good. It's just probably a little flat from being in storage so long.
Also, I'll tell you. So you showed up back at that town with 30 beaver pelts before we left. Just said, yeah, I'm breaking these.
Yeah, he just had a
they're
stack
still
of
on
beaver
there.
pelts on his shoulders and back.
Yep. I got the beaver pelts.
So anyway, as you start to set up camp and whatnot, what are you guys doing?
Making a nest of beaver pelts.
You all watch as the dwarf reaches for his pack and then just on his knees starts to rotate as he starts laying these beaver pelts out like bricks around him in a circular little encapsulant. It's almost like a small, flat, furry igloo.
Do we just see the head? Do we just see the head out the top, and that's about it?
Yeah, you just see the very dented helmet. Don't forget, it hasn't even been a day since you guys fought the giants. This is that same evening.
Yeah.
A couple of you are in pretty bad condition.
Does anybody have any parchment? I'd like to make a no elves allowed.
Well, I'll take first watch.
Well, you could ask Group. He has some. You could probably also lend his pen.
This gigantic quill.
Question. How many spells are in the ring at the moment?
You guys are the ones keeping track of that. That's why I gave you a handout. Apparently it currently contains Revivify and Healing Word. But I think you might have used Healing Word. No, actually that was a bonus
Nope,
action.
nope,
You used your bonus.
No, because I'm the one wearing the ring now.
Yep.
I haven't used any of them.
That's only 4 points, isn't it? Revivifies 3 points.
That's only... Yeah.
And healing word is level 1, so we've got 1 to put in. So does anybody want to donate a level 1 spell?
I could.
Or, I mean, we got Droop, we could have an interesting spell go into it.
Why not? Most interesting spells are usually the most helpful in
On one
very certain
condition, I
situations.
would like to see what you've written down before you start casting it, Droop.
I think I've worked out what went wrong last time, and I think I fixed it.
Of
Maybe.
course, I still don't know about the turning hands. I just know
Turning hands is gone. I'm not
what?
going to try that again.
turning hands. What was
Well,
that?
you learned your lesson.
So I still have sheep since you guys seem to like it.
That won't be necessary. Thank you.
I like sheep.
I've got fog cloud,
Hmm.
I think.
Is that fog cloud or frog?
Numbers are hard.
Well, come over here, Droop.
So everybody's just like, that's fine. Nobody's gonna point out the fact that he said numbers were.
Yeah, that's why I was saying Kit said to come over. No,
Yeah.
let's
Okay.
just. Before we start this out, let's just go over here through your calculations, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Guide me through here.
So what's this squiggly one?
So that would be the percentage.
Oh, so it goes 1 to percentage 4. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now that one would be would be division, and that you add to, and that's equal.
Let's test him out here.
Or you can.
Is he getting this? He's getting it.
Oh. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah, the owlbear seems to be mastering the subject quite well.
I just don't want to change the name tab all the time.
So remember
Actually, this could be a problem. Is Pufflesworth actually intelligent enough to learn magic?
No. Pufflesworth does not have the verbal capacity. Yet. Hey, all it takes is the awaken spell.
Hold on, you mean I can have an owlbear that talks?
You can,
Yeah.
can also have an owlbear that can polymorph you in.
Risk I'm willing to take.
You could have you could have an owl bear that is fully sentient.
So there, you see. Now remember the old rhyme. Remember the old sentence of you carry the percentage over to the division, and that equals whatever you're going for. Always begin with that.
Okay. I think I get it. So I can put one of my spells in the ring?
Yes.
Okay. And he puts Chaos
Okay.
Bolt into the ring.
Hey, nice.
That'll be fun when you fire it up.
Just bet in.
I'm gonna have to add more spells to him. I think he's probably leveled up by now. Alright, anything else from you lot? It's time to socialize. It's the role-playing part of it.
I hate these people.
I'll be burning the
Especially
midnight.
that one.
As he continues to rotate and build his beaver pile.
I'll be taking a short rest instead of a long one to look over our new magical items.
Tell you what, sorry?
I'm taking a short rest instead of a long one to look over the magic items.
Oh, I mean, this is it for the evening. But yeah, you could study them during your watch if you want to.
Sure.
Yeah. So I got first watch for Siegfried. Anyone else?
I can take second.
Zaza will take third.
I guess I'll take 4.
Steve
Good,
will
'cause
take
I'm
first
not
watch
coming
with
out of this
Siegfried.
thing.
Who?
Steve.
Oh, right, Steve.
Steve casualty.
Yeah, Steve Clatterall.
Or collateral.
Ah,
yeah,
yes.
that's it.
Is that really what?
No, it's just my addiction getting it. It's Clatterhall.
No, because I was actually going to review the. If there was a handout, I was like, is there notes on this guy? Jesus
No, there's no
Christ.
handout.
It's like this poor man.
What is Zarzul doing with stealth?
It was Wolfgang trying to sneak into the beaver hut.
Malgern, you notice a wolf is trying to get into your small enclosure of pelts. Because he's somehow this wolf is shit at sneaking. You notice him immediately. He steps on a twig. He knocks over a canteen. He chases his tail at one point in front of you.
A post roll.
No, it doesn't even beat his passive.
Yeah, my passive perception is 15.
Yeah, if you didn't get above 10, man, you're not getting a contested roll.
Yeah, can I help you, dog?
Oh, you missed the perfect chance. You could have said, "What's up, dog?"
Ah, damn it!
Who let you out?
Roof.
I mean, he is the one in charge.
Who let the dogs out? Droop, droop. Nice one, Sig. Nice one, Scotch.
Well played. Your master is somewhere over there.
Or your servant.
Yeah, or your, you know what? Your domesticated servant is somewhere over. I find it unbelievable that you've house trained a cobra.
Wolfgang sulks off. Sulks off. Because he highly embarrassed about that attempt at sneak.
Pufflesworth watches Wolfgang and just sort of does that little smug rocking of the head.
And then attempts to also stealth over or.
Oh yeah, why not? Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, normal rolls. He did better, but still, he's noticeable.
Wait, doesn't Rain have him on a leash?
Yeah.
Wouldn't she somehow be noticing this, or?
Oh yeah, that's why it's such a low roll. He's just walking and the leash is getting tighter and tighter in her grip.
I just look at him and say, "Can I help you?"
He just turns around with that massive head.
Yeah, come back here.
Mm.
No, I don't want to hear it. Come back here.
He just shuffles on back and starts to shred the tree trunk beside you.
Good boy.
Meh.
I don't think he was prepared to roleplay a.
I can't make the bird noises. The bear noise is a bit easier. I'll get on those once he's a bit bigger. You know, in campaign 4, several years from now. So, anyone else for watches?
Who volunteered for watch?
We got Siegfried on first. We got What's on second. Who's on third? I don't know who's on fourth.
I was on second.
I'm on 4.
I'm disappointed no one laughed.
I knew the reference.
It's a classic.
I'll volunteer for second as well.
Your joke is bad, and you should feel bad.
Steve's helping. Siegfried, you stand alert. You notice that Steve has not left the wagon, in fact. He is still there. He's loaded his crossbow, however. And he's doing his best to keep his eyes out. It's a very strange sensation for you again. No lighting. and yet you can see. No color, but hey, good clarity.
Better than nothing.
And your ears are straining for every kind of sound and scrape. But you do hear rustling, you do hear stuff moving around, and you even spot, just on the edge of your vision, a fox darting past. So even a couple of field mice would sort of scurry around whenever you take a moment to sit down and just stay still for a moment. But you don't hear any big thunderous steps, so hey, that's a bonus.
Always good to hear.
And unless you're going to do anything else, your watch ends peacefully.
That's nice. I believe Rain said she was in watch number 2.
And me.
Okay.
Oh good, the best of friends.
Mm.
I wake both of them up and say, your turn.
Yeah.
And then I go and find a spot to curl up and get some sleep.
Give me a wisdom save.
By who?
By Siegfried. It's pretty restful, actually. Despite that horrible encounter with the giants, at least that's something normal. That's actually not too bad, because you could see them coming.
I live another day.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. I mean, the dwarf fell down, that was a little scary, but it wasn't you, and that's good. Are you going to take advantage, or are you going to do a separate roll, Rain? Or you could just spend these 2 hours trying to train Pufflesworth a bit more. And be very useful to Cornelius as he stands on watch with Droop. Oh, I should do a roll for Droop anyway, just for fun.
Oh dear. Oh, I'll probably be doing a mixture of both.
Droop is back in his book, trying desperately to remember the rhyme. So sorry, what were you saying, Rain?
Oh, I got distracted because apparently my headphone cable doesn't want the headphone cable anymore.
Ah.
But I'll probably be doing a mixture of both, being both helpful and working with Pufflesworth too.
All right, what are you going to try and train Pufflesworth for? What lesson are you going to impart?
I'm just trying to work with the simple "don't touch."
All right, give me an animal handling. And Cornelius, remember, you're watching this. You and Droop are standing on guard. He's kind of picking his nose at times, but he's trying. And then you can hear beside you, now don't touch! Don't touch! As you're trying to hear for every possible noise in the distance, in the darkness. You can't see it all. And you just hear, now don't touch, don't eat, don't bite that, nope, not my finger, no. It's a little difficult.
Sigrid's fault.
Hey, at least I rolled well for it.
He's just not getting it. It's a good roll. He knows not to go for the finger at least, but he's still not really learning why he shouldn't just destroy that tree or dig at the ground, because why? But he knows not to bite your finger, even when it's that very tasty looking one.
Oh, goody.
So progress has been made.
Decent progress, yes.
Personal harm has been averted. Anything between you two?
Could you please keep it down just slightly?
I can keep it down slightly.
Thank you.
Unless you want me to use him to use Droop as target practice, I don't think you want that.
Why would you do that?
I'm just saying.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, you don't want me to be loud.
Yes. So why should Drew pay the price? I don't follow your conscience of thoughts.
I just shake my head.
I also wonder about that. Why
And I
does
look at
not
Droop and
being
say-
loud also make me a target?
I look at Droop and I say, "Don't worry, I wasn't actually being serious."
Okay, because a lot of people were.
No, I like you. You're okay.
Yeah, see, I'm Droop Scent, which means I am decent. Haha!
Very good, Droop.
He's very pleased with himself. So is the DM, fuck you all. There is a bit more scuffling, Cornelius, and then you look behind you and you see nothing. Droop, however, starts to tug on your sleeve a bit and says, "There's a really big bear just up ahead."
Okay.
I don't think it sees us, but it can probably hear what we're saying. So I should be quiet. I should not keep talking and point out
And then
exactly where we
I
are
put
to
my-
the animal.
I put my hand across his mouth, and I just nod.
Rain, you also
And
noticed
a
it.
wisp.
I go quiet. I'll help with my mic down. I go quiet and I tug Pufflesworth over.
So what are you doing, Cornelius?
I just stand still and hope it goes away. Otherwise, I'll be prepared to start throwing fireballs at it.
Give me a stealth check from the two of you.
Oh dear.
Droop also tries to be quiet. Ooh,
Wow.
that's pretty good. But what about Mr. Pufflesworth?
Nope.
Still, that's pretty high though, so yeah. There's a moment where a bear starts to sniff at the air. It seems like it knows where you are and all, but it's wondering, is all that worthwhile? And then it picks up the scent of an owlbear and it starts to just sort of back away and slink back off down south. It was a really big brown bear.
I believe you.
Kind of like the one that's up in the games room.
Ah,
And the rest of your watch passes. You can keep talking if you want, sorry, just wanted to point that out.
no, I just wanted to ask Droop, and it's gone now because I can't see it.
Oh, yeah, it went away, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's gone.
He only believes Droop.
Hmm.
I roll my eyes.
He can't see it.
Which means I proceed to give him the double barrel middle finger.
You can hear that. You can hear the swishing. Alright, third watch.
Yep. I ask it. Was there anything of note?
A bear.
The one? Okay.
Yeah, it went about its way.
Quickly survey the area. Make sure that everything is well.
Oh yeah, I should do this. There we go. Was it shift ping, I think? There we go. I think that brings you all in line with it, yeah?
Uh-oh.
No, it's just I forgot to do that.
I'll be closer to everybody.
No, let's make this proper. Here we go.
No.
That's much better, yep.
No.
There we go.
I built my river mountain in the rocks.
Yeah, once again, you've got your keen hunter senses. There's quite a few.
If I hide in these rocks, they'll never see me coming from the road.
Your mic's up.
Of course it is. The perfect vantage point. I will build my fortress here, on the high ground.
Zarzul, the most you can notice throughout the 2 hours is there's a lot of field mice.
Is he bopping them on the head?
It's up to him. I don't dictate your actions,
field.
just your consequences.
Hello, friend.
I could.
You could.
Is it just a lot of field mice around in general, or more than what I'd expect?
Nah, you're just noticing this seems to be a common trail for a few of them. There's about a couple, like 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
You know, one passes by and then about 15 minutes later you see another zip. Another part of it.
Okay, so nothing out of the ordinary.
Just,
That's all.
this is a nice little place for them, apparently.
Well, on what should I say? A prayer to my God. Hopefully, to sort out what's going on the back of my hand. I don't like not knowing what's going on the back of my hand.
Yeah, usually you know things like the back of your hand, but now you don't know the back of your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't need a roll, but you say your prayers. Usually that's a bad thing to do. But yeah, you feel like, I mean, you made your sign of faith. It's a little tricky knowing that she's not really recognized in this part of the world.
Yeah, not much at all.
But I mean,
Hey.
that doesn't matter. She's a god after all.
Isn't
All
she?
that matters is to me. Must prove my faith occasionally.
I mean, as much as
As a
he knows she
training
is.
cleric.
Yep. It's almost like he's suggesting something there. But yeah, through a peaceful and
And I
stillness of the
guess not.
night, you don't hear anything untoward. And your watch ends. Final watch, I believe that's Castalia Malgern.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the ball's in your court.
I'm not leaving my fort.
Mike's up.
I got the high ground.
Mike's up.
I'm not leaving my fort. I got the high ground.
As long as you can see out of it.
He can, but he has to get up on his toes. And Mulgar, and you realize that it's going to take some work to get this helmet off. You did peel off the armor to try and sleep for a bit, but that helmet's still on. You're possibly muted, or your mic's up.
No, he was quiet.
No.
Well, my mic was up. No, he's
thinking.
quiet.
So, anything with you two?
He seems content to stay in his beaver.
I mean, you can still talk to
Warm in
him.
here. It's nice.
I'm not debating the comfiness of the beaver. It's, it's a little tough to talk to you when you're just a pair of eyes peeking out between.
Nothing.
He's just rotating on the spot, looking around like a lighthouse surrounded by fur.
I don't see anything. It's all clear. We're fine.
All right. You might want to talk a bit to Steve, because I think you'd understand his plight more than anyone else's.
All right, send him over.
He's asleep now.
Sleeping.
Well, then we'll worry about that later.
As he slowly recedes back into the beaver fort. Well, Gordon, there's a...
Isn't he helpful?
Yeah, he's so helpful. There's a squeak by your foot.
Wait, a what now?
A squeak.
By my foot?
Yep.
I investigate.
There's a little furry rodent nibbling on one of the beaver pelts.
Take the rodent and I throw it out the top hole.
Give me a dexterity check. As you try to grab this little rodent. Let's see. It evades. As you reach down to snap, you just scrape your fingers against dirt as it darts away. It's still in the circle of the beaver fort. With a
Do I know
mouthful of
where?
various beaver fur.
As he just stares off into oblivion, making funny
No,
faces.
there's a way out of this. Little bastards chewing on my pelts.
You don't want him chewing on your beaver.
That's your beaver. You want to go into it.
He's reveling. He's never been this deep in beaver before.
We just end the watch. God damn it.
No, this is only the start. Well, while he tries to work out how to deal with his infestation, Castalia, what are you up to?
I'm looking over the magical items.
Okay, tell me what you're doing. With which one?
Jeez. Remembering all them stuff.
Well, you've got the treasury list.
Oh yeah, we do have that.
Yeah.
But did anyone write down the items in the treasure list?
Yep, Botch and Webgun have taken it upon themselves. Which just shows how lazy you lot are.
Yep.
Thank you very much for writing them down.
I noticed the Chronicles of a Raxis team hasn't been updated in a while.
I'll get to it. I just have to remember how to spell the elf's name.
Which elf?
The elf lady with the whippy that goes.
Ah, yes.
Which whip?
The one that's making
Me
Castalia
constantly.
moist.
Yeah.
Yes, the one that has made Castalia moist. But yeah, Sod and Lash,
Really
the nice
not
one made
mine.
of tangled grasses and wilted flowers.
I'll start with the jewelry and the silk attached.
Alright, as you start sort of rolling it around your hands for a moment, and it's incredibly expensive stuff, even you can tell that at a glance. And then you notice how it all remains together, and you just sort of start trying to look around for certain bits, and then you find one sort of like semicircular band that seems a bit stiffer than the rest of the jewel chains with the decorations and all. You grab that and you hold it up, and you notice it's all hanging down in, it's a minimal, but it's an outfit.
Huh.
From the appearance, it seems like the way it's hanging that there's slips of fabric for the arms and some sort of loincloth skirt and something that goes across the chest and something in the front of the face. And you can see that the jewel chains themselves, while the fabric's sort of hanging there a little bit because it's unfilled, it's not covering a body or anything, they're a bit out of place. The chains and the jewels are actually in place, like they're framing the figure of a person.
Hmm.
Is it the belly dancer's outfit?
Hmm.
I was just asking if it was the belly dancer outfit.
I mean, all you know is it's a pile of cloth. Could be. Not something any of you would have actually seen, probably.
What magical aura does it have?
It doesn't show any specific school.
Hmm.
There is one thing you notice, actually, come to think of it.
Oh?
it doesn't have that horrible mingled aroma from the caravan.
Oh, very nice.
So at the least it stays fresh.
Self-cleaning.
Can be useful. Just look at Droop.
Particularly when you're traveling.
Self-cleaning just like Pufflesworth as he gets up for a moment to drag his tongue across Rain's face to clean her like an owlbear should. This meat-shredding tongue just leaving deep gouges in skin.
I make
Aw.
I make a face, but I can't bring myself to say no because it's cute.
He probably can't even do it because he's got that beak, so he's probably just poking at her. Before shuffling in closer.
Oops, crap.
So yeah, there's one of the things.
All right. Next would likely be the cummerbund.
The cummerbunds, it's silk, thicker material. You're trying to be careful as you move it around because it's jingling and you don't want to disturb a dwarf who is still rotating in his beaver hut.
And trying to fend off the mousy invaders.
Yeah, now and again he is actually acting almost like a lighthouse as the moonlight catches the dent in his helmet just right, and there's a little glimmer on him. You start pulling out, it feels... It's light, but it feels strong for a moment, and you even give it a little test. You just start to poke your finger against it and just... It can be folded, it can be turned, it can be twisted, but when you try to poke into it, you don't feel any give.
Could it be used for armor?
She's looking at the cummerbund.
Siegfried's voice says in your head. Get out of there. My head's already crowded enough.
Possibly, but it's likely more for a fashion. Or just... For poking suggests something to standard assassination, and I feel it's also drawing a bit too much.
Unfortunately, it was worn a little too low when he got impaled, apparently.
Shit.
Anything else?
Well, we got 2 last ones left, so if there's time, I'll go over those 2. Do we have only time for one?
No, you got time for both, as Malgurn tries to solve a rodent problem.
While running around like a lighthouse.
Alright, then the chain.
The chain... As you're sort of manipulating it a bit, straightening it out, just feeling the heft, and you just slowly the black smoke starts to climb out of a pouch and just says, Seems like a simple way to keep them in order. Pretty basic. Maybe useful for an adventurer. More than what it might have been for. You'll find I use things stronger than a simple band. But you'll see that for yourself. And then the smoke dissipates.
And I'm guessing Malgurn was probably way too busy with the mouse and turning around to actually notice the smoke.
He might have seen it.
He's grinning right now, though.
It's up to the dwarf if he saw it or not.
I did, but I've probably seen it before, so it's nothing new.
Yeah, all of you have seen the black smoke come out a few times. You haven't really seen anything else, though. Only Cornelius saw her talking to it.
Yeah, like she smokes, the kobold smokes.
Yeah. It's just her pipe ignites itself by itself randomly at times.
There are
It's
weirder
magic.
things in our group.
I mean, and I have a hat that dispenses rats. Your point being,
Yes, you do.
that you don't use.
I mean, I
Well,
was
right
thinking
now-
about it, but then I would have 2 rats, and that would be double the problem.
No, you
Or
make a
worse,
rat.
would
That's
be
a
a rat turf board.
Yeah, that's a mouse down there.
The rat wins against a mouse.
Anyway, back to Castalia.
Well, then all that's left is the chessboard.
I never did quite get this game. I prefer...
It's one of
Hmm?
it's one of thought and thinking ahead.
I know that, it just seems so limited. Not enough pawns on the board for my tastes. And really,
Oh, but the
I am used to a queen being the most powerful, though. She's had fun watching that one, as the wisp bends a little bit in the direction of Siegfried. Dreams are one of her favorite playgrounds. And his...
No.
His have been entertaining for her. I must say, the rest have been amusing me in the waking world.
they certainly are a good company.
Are you saying this out loud?
Yes.
Yeah, she doesn't get to think it. She has to say it out loud to speak.
Yeah.
Is this loud enough for me to wake up, considering I'm chilling right there?
It is... If you want to try and wake up to this, give me a perception at disadvantage.
Why the heck not?
Wouldn't you kind of though been listening it when she was talking to Malgorn though?
Well, that's the thing, is I don't know if I'm waking up or if she's loud enough for me to hear or not.
It's loud enough. You wake up, she's speaking.
I'm just kind of mumbling to myself and trying to get settled back in.
Yeah, you manage to stir lightly enough and you find you're awake. Cold. Your ears are pretty freezing right now. And you also see that stringy spiked tail whipping about beside you.
Yeah, maybe I'll just steal one of the dwarf's belts.
I must admit I do enjoy cards. They're a trifle to handle, but chance is a very fine thing indeed. Chess, I find, is more of a foregone conclusion. Hello? I know it's improv, but it's kind of your guys' lines now.
I'm going to assume I can't hear any of this.
You can't
No.
hear any of the male voice, no. You just see a big column of black smokes sort of coiling up from Castalia's hip, going around her arm, actually sort of resting along her shoulder blade, and then up around to one of her horns, which is currently having a few drooping wilted wildflowers just sprouting from it.
Honestly, I enjoy chess.
Well, to each their own, apprentice. Now, we might as well see the pieces. I believe there's a latch down there.
Mm-hmm.
I will point, I'm blinking at her.
And you notice she's not looking in the direction of a dwarf.
Yeah, that's why I'm blinking at her. And then the fact that she's on fire, too, doesn't help.
Oh, she's on fire. She is soaked to the bone. And yeah, as you pop it open, you notice the pieces are distinct, at least. It's actually not. It's not white and black. It's sapphire and obsidian. On the blue side, they're very noble looking. There's, the knights are knights, very heavily plated. The pawns, though, are even donned up. Just from the waist up, there's very simple figurines. Actually, kind of similar to the Kalemvor scales, you remember, back at the crypt. Not exact, but along that same sort of line of just a very compact characterization. As you draw up the obsidian ones, though, they're more jagged. They're more direct in a way. The pawns are goblins. The knights are orcs. And the other things are creatures you don't really recognize. But the bishops, at least, are familiar enough. It looks a little bit like those creatures that were launching spells at you in the crypt. Bony, staff-wielding creatures. The king is a dragon's head with a bit of neck. And the queen is a smaller version of that dragon's head with 4 others by its side.
Oh, this is very funny, man.
I remember her.
Care to share?
Never met personally. Just knowledge that I'm a creator. She isn't.
At this point, I do sit up because I notice she is fully talking to herself now, and I go, "Did you notice your pocket's on fire?"
I startle a bit and turn to Rain. Oh, yes, I know. Very calmly before returning to looking at the chessboard.
I blink at her and I go, "Are you okay?"
She's giving you quite the look right now.
Yes, I'm quite fine, thank you. I
As
hold
the
up one of the chest pieces.
As she's saying this, the smoke starts to coil around her neck and then up around her horns a bit more decoratively. It's almost like she's got some sort of serpent on her.
Is that smoke, like, sentient?
It is the pathway through which my master converses with.
Your wada?
Does your god talk to you?
Yes.
And how does he do that?
In a lot of different ways, but I don't have smoke coming out of my pockets.
This is one of those different ways.
I'm trying to decide if this is a delusion or if I'm having a really bad dream.
I mean, you're pretty aware, even as Puzzleworth sort of scrooches up beside you. This is real. One of the god talkers. I never really had patience for those of a faith. The gods have whims unknowable, best unheeded. Whereas things like we give direct rewards for good service.
So, your master's the black cloud thingy.
I prefer dark smoke, but yes. Again, only Castalia can hear that.
He prefers dark smoke, but yes, and it is for the pathway through which he is talking. Just as your god may come to you in dream as a form, that is not truly your god, just how he is portraying himself to you.
Uh-huh. Who exactly is this?
I put on a little smile. Would you like to meet him?
Sure.
Well, there you go. Been given permission.
Alright, tell her to close her eyes to calm her breathing. This can always be a little disorientating.
Now just close your eyes. Relax.
I give her one of those looks which indicate I'm not quite sure if this is a wonderfully sane idea to do, but I'm gonna go along with it.
Now take a deep breath.
And take a deep, deep breath.
I do so.
As you do,
Why-
and
Why
since
is
you
a
can't...
clerical person having more, more to speak to the devil than the fucking wizard?
I
She's
have
not
a
a-
very interesting background here.
As she takes that deep breath, she can't see it, but some of the black smoke spirals into her. And then... Hello there. So you were one of the traveling companions of my apprentice. Greetings.
Hi. I guess it's nice to meet you.
Well, your curiosity is now sated, yes?
So technically we've not been introduced. Who are you?
Very well. Although she does not even know. Yes, why not? I am Barigo.
Well then, it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to
what
meet
ma-
you too, Rain.
I figured you knew who I was, considering I've been traveling with her, and apparently you've had your lovely smoke thing in her pocket this whole time.
When I have the time, I observe, I witness. Not always, but you lot are amusing.
Mildly so. What manner of individual are you?
Oh, that would be telling, wouldn't it, I suppose? I'm not so sure you'd be all that pleased to know. Certainly not your unbalanced master. I'm a bit beyond him. Not entirely, I'll admit, but a bit beyond the end.
Let's be realistic. I've probably heard weirder things.
Not directly, though.
No, not directly. Usually in a book.
They are a fun read. I was disappointed none of you picked up those tawdry little novels. I could do with some entertainment.
I don't really do the tawdy stuff. I do prefer. I must admit, I do like reading a little bit of black magic, even if I don't use it.
Oh, I should actually point out, during this exchange, Castelli, you can hear both sides. You can still hear Barigo.
I occasionally look over to the lighthouse dwarf. See if he can see this.
Or if he can hear this, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, what's currently happening right now is that Rain is talking, but there's a little wisp of black smoke still sort of curling around her neck. And there's still that billowing serpent-like stuff around Castalia. So sorry, what was Rain's last statement there?
I was mentioning that I don't usually read that sort of thing, but I do look a little bit into the black magic stuff, even though if I don't use magic per se.
I'm not really one for magic. I unlocked her potential. Many have that kind of potential, but I'm a creator instead. I am a maker.
fair enough. I'm not really a maker. I like chronicling things and reading the chronicles of things.
Yes, the storage of knowledge of memories, it's quite vital. The Queen does adore to do so.
The Queen?
I'm surprised you don't know of... Well, then again, your people don't. At least half of them don't.
Which half?
Have you ever found yourself watched by black ravens?
Well, I've been in plenty of places where there's a lot of black ravens, and to be perfectly honest, sometimes you can't tell if they're watching anything or not. They're rather creepy that way.
They're always watching. Of that you can be sure of.
Now, as an aside that's not to him, does black ravens ring a bell?
Give me a religion check.
Why can't I read? Aha, I can read.
The moment he says ravens and this aspect of darkness, you've got there's not a lot on her, but you've got the impression he's talking about the Raven Queen. She is known as an incredibly fragmented and barely understood deity, or something close to a deity. But her domain is all about memory, it's about story, about tragedy. And she's known that she doesn't reside anywhere in the heavens or in the far realms. She resides in the Shadowfell, which is like a sidestep to the material plane. It's a place of entropy, of stagnation, of everything just withering away. Whereas the Feywild is the other step, where everything is bright and exuberant and over the top and constantly booming. This one is where it's all gradually eroding away into nothing. And then just staying just the step before it.
Huh. I don't feel in that I know about that, and I just kind of keep going with my conversation as it was.
Well, it's your turn on the conversation.
Crap, I forgot what he said.
Well, he was talking about the Queen and how ravens are always watching. And how she adores tragedy and memories and stories.
Oh, there's quite a bit of stories coming up in here with this lot, I can tell you that.
Yes. Some not so much. Others, great potential. And then...
Well, I could certainly say that that wizard isn't worth the coin he's sitting on.
I'm not really one for different standings. But he wields his powers in a surprisingly responsible manner for his kind. Although then there's the goblin.
The goblin's worth looking at. He's certainly quite interesting, and I'm actually very happy with how he's progressing. He's actually doing far better and far quickly than I thought he would be doing.
He's a creator. That is something of promise.
He might not be creating exactly what he wants, but it usually is very interesting what he comes up with. I must admit, I do like that sheep spell.
Strange little creatures.
Well, they're far more capable they're far more capable than people give them credit for.
And then there is you. Emblazoned with a symbol, and yet not with a sense to simply avoid throwing a scroll into the blaze.
Oh no, I had the sense. I just wanted to get rid of it right then and there. There's... Oh, fuck off.
Does she actually say that to him?
No, that's the dwarf. I was saying that to the dwarf, not him.
No, to the dwarf's player, not the dwarf.
By the way, Mulgard, you are overhearing everything but the male voice.
That was going to be my question, was can I overhear...
Yeah, you
what
can hear everything here, apart from Barigo.
Well, I do mention I just wanted to get rid of that right then and there. I mean, the truth be told, I knew that probably wasn't a smart idea.
It's a very
So
narrow...
I'm going to start perking up at about the time she said goblins are capable. Because now I am paying immense attention to this because those are words that should never be in the same sentence.
It's also weird because you notice Castalia and Rain were talking, but they're not talking to each other at this point.
Yeah, but go on. I didn't mean that.
And the poor, poor boy over there. And you know where to look. He doesn't even have to point it out.
Which boy are we talking about? Actually, I do have to question because I'm not sure.
The one
I'm
in the
assuming
fetal
the one on the
position.
fort.
The one in the
no.
cart.
Okay.
No. The one that you know. The one who has recently got a beard.
Oh, Siegfried.
There we go. The unfortunate one.
I do have to wonder about his stability. I don't think he's got much of it.
It's funny. I've seen adventurers before. They go through so much. With so little marks, but him, it all sits on the surface. I wonder why, but then that's why she's curious. For brief moments, at least. Why I'm quite pleased with my apprentice's choice, so far, in companions.
Yeah, we're certainly not, boring.
Probably
I don't
not
know, the dwarf's
long for
kinda
that little
boring.
scaled creature, though.
He's rather peculiar. I have a feeling that if anything goes up with him, it's probably not going to be... He's probably going to say hello to the wrong person.
I mean, he's already said hello to the wrong object.
True. He's probably going to get us in trouble one of these days, sooner rather than later.
It's a horrible implement that he's using. But the thing is, it's very picky.
Which implement?
The dagger.
The dagger.
The boom knife.
Not long for him at all. But I've heard that's typical of kobolds anyway. Well, if there's anything else,
No, I don't believe so. Honestly, I should be in bed. I was just woke up because I heard all the chatter. I suppose it was a pleasure to meet you.
you may hope so, yes. It is nice to spread the words, as it were.
Well, I'm always up for a good conversation.
Do take care of my apprentice, It is tough to find ones with a talent.
Well, I'll try to keep her alive.
And I must admit, the horns are quite cute.
Oh, and by the way, I do actually laugh.
Eye roll.
Well then, farewell for now. And the black smoke
Farewell.
slowly trails out from her mouth.
Well, that was different.
And then and then the smoke is still coiled around Castalia as it just goes, she is quite the foolish one, isn't she?
Well,
It just makes the travels all the much more enjoyable.
Well, enjoy your little game at least. Think I must retire for now.
Very well. Take care of yourself, Master.
Do survive, apprentice. Do survive. And slowly peels away, and it's back in just... the smoke is just gone.
I I just shake my head and I go, it's time for me to go to bed.
There's a as you put your head down on Pufflesworth instead of your pillow. But he settles. And Castalia, as you're setting the pieces onto the board, you notice that they sit there against your grip for a moment. Then you realize you can't actually move any of the pieces on the back now. You can't pull them off. But then you take hold of one of the pawns and it slides forward. You can't lift it, but you can move it to the squares it would be allowed to go to.
Interesting.
I do point out, is the dwarf saying anything now that the conversations are subsided and he's just seen a bunch of smoke dithering back and forth?
No, but I do make a note of it.
Girl talk is a strange thing for a dwarf.
Now they're both smoking.
And there was one more object, yes?
No, I think that was all of them.
Well, there was a sandal.
Was it magic?
Yeah?
Didn't say in the list, but alright, then I'll look over the sandal as well.
Yeah, as you give it a
More
rub down.
importantly, but
Wasn't there something else?
no, we got the chain, cummerbund.
Oh, you haven't checked out the dagger.
No, haven't checked out the dagger yet.
Well, up to you.
Yeah, let's do the sandal.
Yeah, as you're checking it over, it seems pretty sturdy. Feels comfortable, at least as you slide your palm on it. And then you're sort of picking up on, again, like the outfit, or what you presume is an outfit at least. Very clean. Not much of a scent to it. And then as you're rubbing your thumb around the jewels and all, it comes free, the little set of 5. You look on the back of the little, like, golden framing of it, and there's no attachment spot, there's no pins, there's no hole.
I try to reattach it. Or place it back as I found it.
You place it on, it just sort of... It sits there for a moment. And it comes away as your thumb shifts a little bit by just nerves, and then you put it on again, and it takes about a minute, but then it sits on there, and it's not moving.
Now, if only you had a partner. Interesting. I wonder if the entire thing is an ensemble. Whatever it is, the same person made it. Likely. Well, then I suppose it's time to take the best one. The dagger.
As you lift up the dagger, the black pillar of smoke rises again. Oh, now that has an interest. I can feel it already. Yes, now, close your eyes again. It's just like the times before, like the tosser.
I wonder if this will reveal all the sources. But let's find out. I close my eyes.
Again, it feels like you're suffocating for a moment. You can feel the tight confines. You're just sort of getting jostled around for a moment. The heat is intense. It's dry. Everything around is dry. The scent in the air is thick with oil with perfumes, with spices. Again, there's this urgency to the jostling around. You're sort of swinging free, but then it's just every step seems urgent. There's a clattering, muffled. Then suddenly the air itself is cool, it's refreshing, it's threatening in a way. Then you feel the light, you feel the sun upon you. And then you are that blaze, you are the light. And then your mouth fills with the taste of blood. It actually rises up from your mouth. You're coughing it out among the trees in the camp. As you just feel yourself driven in. And then it's nothing but there's water hitting on you. Salted. Steady. There is regret everywhere around you right now. And then you're back in the clearing. Your mouth is filled with blood. Your limbs for a moment feel heavy, feel pained, and then you're back with your senses.
And then you look to your left, and there's the dwarf and the beaver.
Yeah, again, he saw all this. What he saw was Castalia just sort of focusing on the knife for a moment, head down, and then just dribbles of blood started to drip out from her mouth, and then started to cough. And now she's got a mouthful of it.
Okay. Sinking down into the hut further. A little scared.
The mouse on your shoulder also goes back into the den.
You know what? This is okay. Deserves to live too.
Can I see all this?
You went to sleep.
I'm not sure what I was about to say.
I mean, you probably haven't gone to sleep yet, so if you want.
In that case, what I'm doing is rolling the fuck over.
As this soggy, spluttering, bleeding devil woman beside you goes through possibly an episode.
No, I figure it probably has to do with the smoke thing, and I rolled the hell over.
You heard smoking is bad for you. You figured this is just one of the symptoms.
And then the
I'm
voice
not a
of
doctor, but I think Castalia might have throat cancer.
it's just a swollen lymph node, it's fine. Now that was interesting. Pull it from the scabbard.
Alright, turn to the side first and spit out the blood, and then pull it from the scabbard.
As you do, you see about an inch of blade, and then nothing. But it still feels heavy and weighted. It feels like there's a full length, like not even, you didn't notice it when it was in the scabbard. When you pull it out, it doesn't feel like a dagger. It feels a lot heavier than that.
I give it a few swings to try and test its weight.
It's kind of strange. There's nothing out there, but you can feel a fully weighted blade. And as you move your hand over it, there's nothing there. You're not feeling any shape. There's no invisible blade to it. But the weight's there.
I pull out my notebook and write down a few thoughts that I really should start writing in the actual.
If you want, I can make you a handout.
Please do. I'll try and put some stuff. Yes. Definitely seems like it's likely weighted. deed done. Still, that is fascinating. And then I give it the most important test, and I try swinging it, but not the actual physical that I can see blade against the tree.
Nothing
See.
happens. You
Alright.
swing through, you feel no resistance, and it just swings fine. There's no
Alright.
mark on the tree.
Alright.
This is what life was like before the identify spell. You gotta test it yourself. And that's your lot. Alright, Malgurn, roll me a perception check, since you were obviously the one on watch, as you saw everything. It was a lonely time in Beaverfort.
No, I have a little mouse friend who is now scared shitless.
He got lost somewhere in your beard as well. You didn't see him leave? You think he's still in there somewhere.
Well, now you have a friend.
And slowly morning begins to rise. The night passes without incident. Rain, as you open your eyes, there's eyes staring back. It's the small head of a porcelain doll. The mouth is closed, but it slowly begins to crack open.
Well, at this point, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna stare at the damn thing and see what happens when it opens.
It keeps opening and opening. You see the cracks start to split up along its face. It even pops open one of the eye sockets, as its whole face seems to be breaking apart to make this mouth open.
Well, I wave at Castalia and I go, "Do you see this? And if not, just stare at it for me."
It's
I
a rather
look over at what she's pointing at.
It's a rather smooth stone. Fits in the palm nicely. Pretty big.
Does it ask a question?
This one does not ask questions.
Just stare at it for me.
Also, Rain, as you shift the position a little bit, the eyes followed.
Alright, I'll do just that.
Well, I'm just gonna watch the thing and see if it pops open completely.
As it opens further and further until finally... Let me just fucking skip to the page, because I forgot to have the book open at the time. You just hear, in your head, Castalia does not hear this, "I see you." And I will need a wisdom save.
It's a Palantir. Destroy it.
Oh, well, actually, yeah, you had no disadvantage, so yeah. It hurts. There's a pain right in the center of your head, and you take half. You take 5 points of psychic damage.
At which point I go, "Ow, fuck, where is that damn head?"
I look between the pebble or the stone and Rain and question, what?
Now I look at her and say, "That doll head we found, where did we put it?"
Likely back in the trash pile.
Fuck!
As you're blinking the pain away, it's a stone now.
Yeah, okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Alright, so that doll head thing was apparently cursed. And now just randomly these things, like that round... I assume that thing that I threw that you all thought I was crazy about before.
The globe.
The globe, yeah. I would assume it probably was a globe, like this thing is now a rock. Because now I see it's a rock.
At this
Yeah,
point, I like to imagine that a couple of light, dancing lights are around you. And I'm just coming. It's just Cornelius coming over. Is it really this important to speak at this point of night?
Yes, it is, as a matter of fact. Anyways, I turn back to Castalia to ignore the wizard.
Instead, entrust the one who introduced you to her master. The black smoke from Shadow Dimension, yes.
Oh, yes, but she's not a wizard, so that's that. But
You're right, she's definitely not as evil, this Satan woman who draws her power from the dark dimension.
Can I just point something out? So, you've gone crazy because you're seeing doll heads everywhere. I watched some of y'all smoke shit and talk to people last night. Am I the only sane person left?
He says in his beaver fort.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm not coming out. I think I'm the only sane one left.
As he slowly bends his knees and disappears inside the mound of beaver pelt.
I just look around and I look back to Castalia and say, so, that thing is quite clearly cursed. And I'm in for a really bad time because that hurt. Only a little bit,
What
though.
thing is cursed? What are you babbling about?
You remember that doll head we found a ways back in the ruin?
No.
It was with the blue meanie trash pile.
She's obviously crazy.
It was in the trash pile that we found when the dwarf decided to take a nosedive.
Well, I asked for help.
So, point is, while the dwarf was making a nosedive, in the trash pile was a doll head. And that doll head... Well, are you sure we didn't pick that doll head up? Because it was magical. We knew it was magical.
Yeah, it was probably stuffed in your pouch. You probably kept a hold of it.
Me or him? Because
You.
I don't have a pouch. Oh. Well, in that case, then I go to take a look for it.
No, not the magic pouch, but you just would have kept it on hand since it was magical. You rummage around your pockets?
Yep.
You don't find it.
Then I look at Cornelius and I say, can you look for that magic stupid doll head?
Why would I have a stupid doll head?
Because it was
Well,
magical.
Well, if it likely was magical, it's likely it.
Yes, and the rock that you insist on carrying around is also magical. Not everything that's magical is useful. I don't carry around useless magical trinkets.
I roll my eyes and I go, okay, let me see. I got something for this, I wager. Aha! There we go.
As you cast it on yourself. I mean, the spell happens. You've no idea. You didn't feel as if you were cursed or anything beforehand. You don't feel like you were afterwards either. Maybe it worked.
So now I start looking through my pockets to see if I can find the doll head.
You don't find it.
Castalia, what is going on here? Did she wake up from a bad dream?
She claims she's seeing a porcelain doll that keeps trying to open its mouth. Well, no, she just basically says she's seeing a porcelain doll that's following her around.
It's the one that we found back at the ruins, and no, it was opening its mouth in the carriage. This time, it opened its mouth, and it hurt.
Are you sure you weren't just having a bad dream?
I give him a withering glare.
So you're not sure?
No, I'm 100% sure. It's the doll head, and I don't know exactly what it's doing, but it's certainly not an object that is very pleasant.
Okay. Well, since apparently this doll head is nowhere around, there's not much we can do.
Well, correct. I just try to remove curse. Let's see if that helps any, or if not, then I'm going to just have a doll head chasing me around for the rest of my life. Which isn't that weird, come to think of it.
It's pretty weird.
So who's making breakfast?
I'll make breakfast.
Yes, let the crazy woman make breakfast. Rain, maybe you should just sit down.
Droop,
Zazzle.
do you not remember the doll head, Droop?
I remember a white flash and not a lot else for a bit. Sorry.
It's okay, Droop. I don't blame you.
Actually, Droop was not in the room when you found the doll head.
Zazzle's going to roll out from underneath the cart and start making breakfast.
Wasn't Siegfried in the room when we found the doll head?
I don't think anyone was.
No,
Well,
he
no,
quickly
'cause-
went to his little cubby hole and curled up. Because I remember him having to slide.
Yeah, he nearly got eaten.
The only thing I remember is I didn't know about, because I can't use detect magic. So who used detect magic to help find that?
I think that was Sasu.
Yeah,
I think it might have been me, but I can't remember anything about the doll's head.
it was Zarzel. He was the one that told you it was magical. Cornelius only entered the scene when you found the scroll case.
Right, so,
And then
Zarzul!
and then a flash banged you all.
Except myself.
Yeah, you were the one who did it. You opened it up and a flash.
Well, yeah, got all of us. But
No,
Zarzul!
Cornelius was the one who opened it, though. He triggered it. He flash banged the whole team, but looked away himself.
Yeah. Zarzul, don't you remember that doll head we found with the, your detect magic?
I seem to remember a doll head, but I can't remember much about it.
Okay, so there you go. Somebody has admitted that we have found a doll head. And it was magical.
You also found a key made out of human bone, just apropos of nothing. It wasn't
Yeah, we
magical.
found the key.
Alright, and what did you do with the doll?
Well, I don't exactly remember. I'm pretty sure we took it with us.
But we actually left the doll head behind. Maybe we did take it with us. I don't know. We being pack rats again.
It's only been 2 fucking weeks.
Well, next time it pops up, I'll try smashing it.
But yes,
Why
it is.
don't you try putting it down?
Well, I tried that. I tried chucking it.
Yes, and it broke the globe. It might break something important next time.
Okay, so next time I see it, I'll ask you all if it's an important object, and then I'll try smashing it. How about that?
The one who doesn't have smoke.
Better than the previous one?
I just shake my head.
What a group. There's no fucking sympathy between any of you guys to each other.
I have sympathy for Drew.
He's not a player, though. But yes, it is morning now.
Well, I mean, there is a chance that it is something, but there's not a lot we can do about it.
Well, yeah, that's why I cast the remove curse, and we'll see if that works.
Well, we can have someone look at it. Such services are even available.
Zarzul, when you
Seems pretty odd.
Zarzul, when you awoke, you noticed there's more white scales on the back of your hand. The patch is still pretty small, but you can put a couple of fingertips on it now.
Oh dear.
Well, human fingertips, not your giant, weird monster digits.
I'm seriously thinking I need to try and get rid of this dagger now.
You have somebody that can help with that.
But Pufflesworth is still asleep. Wait a
I
minute.
could possibly give it to Cornelius to store.
Drew could have done it for you. He'd use turning hands.
Cornelius, I'm not sure about this dagger. It seems to be having weird effects on my scales. I don't.
Will
like
you
what
keep
they
it?
Is there a good way to destroy such a artifact?
Roll me an Arcana if you want to think about that.
Yeah.
Is this over at a complete congregation?
Is this what, sorry?
Is this everyone like in the same area congregating?
Yeah, you're all awake now. It's morning. You can hang about and mill and mingle and get to know each other and bond. And synergize your core competencies.
Is Steve okay?
Yeah, Steve's alright. He's still in the carriage, but he does pull himself out a little bit just to sort of sit around. He's not one for conversing, but he does seem a bit calmer.
Well,
And
that's
Cornelius, you're pretty sure that generally, any sort of magical enchantment in something imbues it with a certain degree of incredible toughness. It could be very difficult to break, or in some cases incredibly easy, like maybe it's a legendary artifact that has an incredibly potent magical effect, and all you have to do is just smash it with a sword. But in general, it can be quite difficult. Maybe powerful magic, maybe an even greater enchantment on an item. Just, you can't really just bend it over your knee unless it's maybe a staff. Hopefully Braider got that one.
Wait, what?
When I was referencing how to break a magical object, sometimes you just gotta hit it with a sword.
Ah, yes, yes.
Well,
Fire has worked before. Shall we try again?
Uh,
On a bone, that ain't gonna work.
well, more in that it could just
why,
release. the
hang
magical-
hang on. Why would it not work on bone?
Yeah, what do you know that we don't?
Yeah,
How do you think cremation works?
Yes, but the problem is we don't have a small fire here. We have a small fire. We don't have a furnace.
I'm just pointing
You
out the
have a
scene of the.
wizard.
I'm just pointing out of the scene of the two men telling the woman that her bone knowledge is questionable.
Particularly when I deal with undead things all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
healer.
when you say fire is not useful, doesn't do anything to bone. Like, how do you cremate?
It does, but the problem is it has to be really, really, really hot. And right now we don't have really, really, really hot fire. You mostly need it to be enclosed in something like a kiln to get the bone to turn to ash.
Before we
True.
toss another magical item, let us remember what happened the first time.
That is also an issue. But I'd say more to the fact that, I mean, obviously the campfire is not going to do it. While you have magical fire, that probably would help us some, but a lot of the heat's just going to dissipate off into absolute nowhere because, again, it's not enclosed. So if we do have an enclosed rock formation, it'd be worth a shot, but we would want to throw it in there and then run the other way in case it goes ba-boom, ba-boom.
I think the second went ba-boom, ba-boom. We'd all be affected.
Yeah.
So
That's
running
such a-
away wouldn't really cause much.
What's the worst that could happen?
A lot, actually. So my best advice would be to try to remove the curse on you and become unattached to it. Probably put in one of Cornelius's pouches there, and then offload it at the nearest opportunity.
Tonight on Dark Gear, we're gonna destroy a magical bone dagger. I mean, how hard can it be?
And then we
You
have
become
to-
unattached to it. Just
Hold
tell
on,
you
why
wanna move
is
in
it that
together.
I have to tell people that why bone doesn't just automatically turn? Fuck.
Well, they don't
Didn't
deal
you-
with the
did-
dead.
Didn't you pass college, Cornelius?
This is different times and different eras.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
did.
there are peasants who don't know how to read.
And there's nobles who have never done a day's work in their life. And
that's not-
certainly not anything regarding the dead.
And
That's
Yeah.
not work, though. That's just common book reading.
No.
books
Why would he need to
aren't
learn
very
it?
common.
There's peasants who do that work for him.
Yeah.
Why would that ever be in his education? I don't need
How
to
do
know
you
how to
use-
bury the dead.
How do you use fire and not know what it can do?
I know plenty of what fire can do. Thank you
Like
very
fire
much.
something.
I know that you don't. That I can't just have an open flame and it will burn, but you said the fire would not affect bone. That's what I said questions to.
Well, tell me at least you know how to take down a castle using fire and some pigs.
You mean from the fat of a pig that you
Okay,
would
so
store
this-
in barrels underneath the castle? You would not actually put a live pig that you would set on fire because the pig would most likely run backwards out away.
Yeah, obviously.
As you all discuss loudly the properties of fire and bone, Steve is having traumatic flashbacks.
I look to Zarzul and say, just keep the dagger away from you first. Just separate yourself from it as much as you can.
Yes, put it in the pouch.
And I
I
hand it
opened one
over.
of them. No, I don't want to touch it. You put it in the pouch.
Dear. I gingerly sort of try and get it into his belt.
It's almost pulls you in with how quickly the dagger's accepted. It's almost wrench free of your hand.
That's a scary belt.
Yeah, no, it seems to be a bit on the fritz.
It likes death. The death magic.
Oh, so it tried to
That's
suck you
all
in
yours.
too.
Did it seem to want to suck my hand?
No, that's a special service. It costs a couple of platinum for that service. Maybe there's other uses for these pouches. No. No, it just seems it caught you a little off guard with just how quickly it sort of sucked it in. Like you weren't able to you weren't able to keep your grip on it. Maybe
I'm
you
not
stumbled
sure
forward a
that's
little
coming out
bit.
Again.
Maybe you stumbled forward a little bit, but it didn't feel like it was pulling you in, just the dagger.
Oh, okay. Okay. Dagger's gone. That's first step. Next step, uncurse? Possibly? Don't know.
I can
Well,
do
now-
that.
Well, now we have to see if it gets worse or stays the same. If it gets worse, then it's likely something's upon you and maybe worse. If it
We
stays
may
the same,
have to
it's likely
amputate.
that's
No, we won't have to amputate.
But there's also a chance that it could just slowly get better. So now we just wait.
Can we uncurse just in case? I don't like curse.
Very well.
As everyone looks to the cleric and her precious spell slots.
Oh, I can cast.
Oh, then you're gonna do that instead, because that way I don't lose all of mine.
Yeah, I
Thank
can
you.
cast remove curse.
Hmm.
I picked it up. Along with dispel magic, so I can dispel them.
Zarzul, you don't feel any different. But then, apart from how weird and numb part of your hand is, you didn't feel any strangeness anyway. The scales are still discolored. You still don't have much feeling there.
Okay. Okay. Didn't know much about that bone thing anyway. Oh dear. We shall see.
He's not actually nervous, he just hasn't had it from his pipe yet.
Sits down on a rock, pulls out the pipe, stuffs it full, and takes huge drag. There's a small smoke cloud in the corner.
Yes, a small smoke cloud rising up above the tree line into the sky. And then you hear
Shall
a
we get going
loud,
shortly?
booming roar.
Oh, bother.
How
Shall we get
close?
going now?
It's to the northeast. It's closer than it was last time you heard it. But it doesn't feel like it's right beside you or anything.
How's Steve looking?
Fucking terrified. Droop gives him the courtesy of a quick prestidigitation just in case. Because it just feels like... It just looks like he's going to go at any point.
Can Steve fit in the shell? I know it's not a question, but can he fit in the shell? I have a train of thought here.
Possibly. He's not as broad and built as Malgern. It could require assistance in and out.
At which point I pop my head in there and I do point out, just so you know that shell does have magic blocking power. So in theory, if someone was in there and decides to fire breathe onto the cart, you should be fine.
So on the conversation of how fire works, won't I be cooked or the fire just go up in the hole?
To be fair, it is a magical shell, so if it's a magical fire,
Or
you'd
it
be
might just
okay.
burn up all the air, so I'll cook and suffocate and die in a small, dank little hole in a snail shell?
Well, it wouldn't burn it all up because it would have to stay a consistent fire for a long period of time. And obviously it's not going to be doing that because if it shows up, we're going to start hitting it, and I rather doubt it's going to focus on attacking the wagon when it could attack the thing attacking it.
It doesn't care about the wagon much. It goes for those, and he points at the horses. Those are on the wagon. It's also not like a dumb beast. It knows we need that to get away.
Oh yeah, but we're going to attack it if it shows up. So it's not like we're just going to turn and run.
I think I'll just hide.
Okay. I was just offering.
Thanks. I think. Holy fuck.
I've begun helping everyone to pack, including disassembling the beaver.
Malgern, she's taking apart your beaver hut.
Oh,
I
don't
imagine
touch
he
his
hasn't
beaver.
left us at any point. He's just smacking your hand. I'm not ready yet.
No, I'm packing it.
Well, I'm putting anything that we don't want to get burned up in a potential fire catastrophe into the shell.
And possible conversation bits. Castalia, do you share what you learned
About the dagger?
about the various magical items?
Oh, sure.
You know it's not just a pile of silk rags or anything.
Alright, let me see how much I recall, because I'm very good at memory.
Now you've got Castalia's comportment to put stuff into.
Yes. The cummerbund seems resistant to poking. This would likely be stabs, judging by location, possibly to prevent assassinations, but it might just be to keep something looking. The dancer's outfit, it appears to be self-cleaning, magic. So you always look your best when you're if you want to show everything off. The chessboard, you cannot lift the pieces, but you can push them.
Yeah, as she pulls out the chessboard, the pieces are still there.
This seems something that if someone were in high society, enjoy very much so.
Hang on a second. Stand still at the board. And kind of try and do some move in sequence until I can take one of the pawns.
Yeah, the moment one pawn touches another, it's just able to slide off and comes away in your hand.
Interesting.
Well, that's nifty. We can at least play chess while we're traveling.
And the dagger seems to be missing a portion. You can feel a bit of the weight to it, but it's definitely not there. This is more tied into the source of the which apparently was a regretful assassination. Likely a trusted servant to a master. It's only possible, though.
Well, you're
Oh,
just
is
thinking,
that
what was
why you
all that
have
other
blood
shit
pouring
then?
out of your mouth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's news for free of a party.
Yeah, I also have questions.
Well, no, you were there. You saw that.
Did I?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
beat
saw
her for it.
everything.
Yeah. Okay.
The only
Why
thing is,
was-
throughout it, you didn't hear Barigo talking.
Why was blood coming out of Castalia's mouth again?
I entered a trance to look into the history of the. While doing as such, I sometimes experience parts of the weapon's history. In this case, I witnessed it killing someone.
That sounds uncomfortable.
It isn't always comfortable, but it is always fun telling stories.
It's just death.
I'm just gonna look over in her direction.
I can only picture her saying that when she's got her hand on Steve's head just as support. It's only death. The man who buried his families yesterday.
Oh no, I've left him by this point.
I just like how it's only death talking to Elias who has died.
No, remember he didn't die. We just thought he died because we goofed.
Yeah, he was artistically dead. He felt very close. Meanwhile, Siegfried, you've still got that big black scar from a Kotobel pass blasting you with its death beam.
Well, I'm trying to get the horses ready to move, seeing as I don't want to be around for whatever big thing that is.
Just ignoring all
Like,
this
everybody-
conversation about Castalia bleeding in the
Oh
night.
yeah. I just want to be gone. Give me nice city walls. This countryside isn't for my type of person.
Yes, let's get moving on. This is a hard enough
Well,
morning as
let's
it
put it
is.
this way: as long as the cart is ready to move, I'm leaving without you guys.
Stories are for the in not out here with the chimeras.
That's true, there could be more than one.
You've given the DM ideas.
Oh no!
Bad.
I knew it from the start. Did you guys ever think of that? Because I thought about it a lot.
Well, if there's one, there's got to be others.
I'm still wondering what actually attacks that set to that other cart. Ballistas.
Well, I can think of something, but that's more. Oh, let's see.
I was gonna say, let's get going.
And so you all happily set off with your new loot, but you're apparently just going to stick in storage.
Well, did we find out what some of it actually does, like the chain?
The chain, not so much. It was just that it would be helpful for adventurers. So I think if you attach it to something, it's likely to break that link. So less likely to lose it.
A reminder that there are some objects where you can learn their purposes and uses by attuning to them.
That too.
Can I attune to anything else? I can't remember.
You have free slots, but you can change what what you're attuned to constantly.
I had to attune to the mace. And the rope. So
No,
anything-
you're full up. You also took the shield.
oh yeah, I took the shield. I forgot about the shield. Yeah.
But then, if you're taking a weapon or an armor, and you're swapping one of those out.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna trade up either of those.
I can attune to the chain.
The chain is actually not an attunement item.
Oh, well, thank goodness for that.
Were you going to say something, Cornelius?
No.
seeing as the kobold's getting rid of the dagger, maybe he should take the other one.
Yes, switch one magic dagger that turns out to be horribly cursed, and then take another dagger we don't know anything about.
That apparently made spewing blood a thing?
No, that was just learning its past. I don't think that wielding it makes its past.
Or does it?
I'm not too sure at this point, so I was happy to
You could always
I have
take
a
the
short
dash.
sword.
You could always take the dashing sash,
What was that?
the cummerbund, the dashing sash.
The dashing sash.
Okay, I'll give it a go.
Because that way you could be a kobold with style.
I am a kobold with style. Now I have more style.
As he just slings his finger around his waist, over his head, across his snout again, down underneath his arms, because this was on a big guy.
Well, now he has armor.
Oh, if he wears it across, like from the shoulder down, it could actually act as like a chest protection.
It just takes about 4 or 5 layers. On his skinny, wheedly little body.
Just double it up in a couple of places, yeah?
Well, instead of just putting it sideways, if he loops it over like a sash.
So you're attuned to the gauntlets, the hood, and that was the dagger.
Yep.
So yeah, you have space for one more. Anyone else attuning to stuff, shifting around equipment? Mulgaren, you want to hop into the dancer's outfit?
Nah, I think I'm good. Those days are.
No, I think the kobold should be in the dancer's outfit.
No, give it to Droop.
No.
Oh, also, the shield doesn't take attunement.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it didn't, because it doesn't give any benefits. It's just a nice little design.
Oh.
Ah. I'll take the dancer's outfit then.
It's basically a shield for college bros to show they're totally straight.
Pretty much. It doesn't take account of sexuality or orientation, just are you male or are you female by basic standards. Not what you identify as. And of course your race, so mongrels like Rain it doesn't work for.
Ah, yes, the politically incorrect shield.
So Castalia wanders off for a bit to change into her outfit. Unless she's wanting to boost morale or anything.
In one case, it was decreased morale.
With who?
The one straight person here?
Wafflesworth?
Oh, I see. Rain's jealous. Thinking, why can't I have perfect red horned skin?
That's apparently attractive.
Yeah, charismatic as hell. As you all set off trundling along, it's a bit awkward trying to slip into the silks. As you hit a few speed bumps and a few potholes on the way. But after attuning, you discover a few things about these. The dancer's outfit is a set of armor. It is 11 base, plus your charisma modifier.
Ooh.
You also get 2 d6s of bardic inspiration. Next session, after the session, I'll decide what those actually do. And once a day, you can also use the spell Calm Emotions. It also gives you the Control Water cantrip. I think that's what it's called. It might be Shape Water. So Arzul, as you're holding the dagger... Or no, you didn't attune to the dagger. No one attuned to the dagger, actually. But no, the cummerbund is a +1 to AC.
I can take the dagger. I don't have a whole lot of magical item.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, then you're also covered in magic. Filled with it. As you two do it, it's strange. You can feel, you feel like you have to grip it a certain way, and when you do, suddenly the inside of the carriage is brightly lit up, as a short sword length of blade emerges of pure light. It is a +1 weapon. It is a short sword. You don't need martial proficiency to use it, however.
Ooh.
And it does 1d6 plus your modifier of radiant damage. It is a sunblade, or one of those types.
Now that's a wizard's blade.
It might have other functions, as along with the cummerbund and the dancer's outfit, but for now, this is what you get from a tuning. And I might change up the dancer's outfit thing since it's entirely homebrew, but we'll see how it goes.
I'll put that information down and such after this session because I don't
Yeah.
want to be things filling the chat.
And as you trundle along, a few hours do pass, and you've got your new swag. And then you come to a signpost, and more importantly, a crossroads. You remember what you were told. There is the path that leads currently in the direction you're going, and then there's the one that leads up into the mountainous region. It looks pretty steep, but the horses could manage it decently enough.
Now the question is, which one will lead us past the Chimera?
Hold on, let me get my Chimera divining rod.
Dwarf, shove it.
You bring out a stick with 3 ends.
So one path is going to take longer, and the other one's less dangerous. I mean,
Right.
yeah. That's the same one.
So clearly the less dangerous one doesn't have the Chimera gene.
Not necessarily. We don't
Well,
know how.
in that case, then it's still less dangerous because we don't know what's on the other one. But this shouldn't be.
You
So-
do realize I turned around to Steve and asked him which way he came from.
Oh, well, we were a big bunch. We came from the... We went the Lowlands route.
Much in that general direction, other than the standard stuff you.
We just went... We just rode till the horses were exhausted each day. Didn't really stop for anything, and we were trying to catch up with the others who had already gone before, but didn't see any sign of them.
All right, so it wasn't until this point you started running into issues with chimeras.
Yeah, that's one way to put it, yeah.
So does everybody agree to take the lowland route?
Yep.
Yeah, low sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be warmer.
Less
But-
ledges for Siegfried to fall off of.
And particularly because giants like mountains.
I mean, some giants do.
A lot of giants do.
I mean, the hill giant, not especially fond of mountains, likes hills, though.
Yeah, true. That is true.
What-
I'm more worried about ice giants.
Would I know anything of giants?
You know they're big.
Okay. Because while she's saying this, I don't know if I know any better, so I kind of.
You know that deep down a little part of you admits that hill giants are fucking scary. As for frozen ones, you've heard of their destructive power, but also that generally they keep to themselves, but then sometimes they also keep to themselves in empires built by slaves. So, you know.
So either way, not very nice. Got it.
Yeah. You do know that a frost giant is a couple of steps above a hill giant. In all dimensions, including how far you'd be in the ground if it hit you.
So let's start down the lowland path, shall we?
Yep, let's get moving.
As you make your decision to travel down the lowland path, some of you do recall the chap on the floating island who told you that the Chimera had only moved in recently. But
Yeah, I figure he's on the lowland path.
we'll get to that next session. For now, we'll end this week's episode. And next, who knows what will happen? Will it be free heads? Will it be a porcelain head? Will Zarzul have to get surgery? Will
I mean, in the
Malgern become
healer,
king of the
probably
beavers?
fix that. I will oust Simon Cowell.
And will Cornelius work out what the hell is with all that black smoke from the devil woman? Because one of the party does know at
nicely.
least.
Well, yeah, I know.
Women are weird things, you know.
I think at this point, only Sarsul and Siegfried are the only ones who don't know what the black smoke is. Like, I don't know the black smoke's name because I'm not dumb enough to start talking with the fucking devil.
Oh, it could be so much worse. That's the thing. In D&D, there are things much worse than a devil.
Yeah.
It is better to be afraid of what you know, than be afraid of what you do not.
Exactly.
Alternatively, just keep running. But yeah, we'll be back next week with more tales of rescue between, within, beside, and inside Raxis at some point. Probably next year. We'll be back next week.